expecting it to be for that Galio matchup here. But it is going to be...
Wow, we're just selecting into
playing the Pyke, so they're just going to play into it. Now, I am assuming it is going to be mid. Tristana mid is much more common. It's a lot easier to...
Yeah, they don't actually spot it.
Yeah.
Zenkos will just start off on the Crow.
But they're setting up for the dive, potentially, with the wave beginning to stack up. Of course, mid won't be able to roam down. Caps does have the TP, but won't really be able to leverage it this early on. Broken Blade is the person we have to keep our eyes on as he runs out of mana, and Owen looks for the dive.
Yeah, they have Ignite.
We'll see whether they can navigate this one. Stun does come through. Broken Blade burning down. That is going to be first blood. The flash comes in. Can Caps chase after him, though? 300 health on the Viego as he tries to get the stab through. It's a decent attempt for a stun, but Oner is going to be taken down. Zeus no flash, of course, and Caps is going to walk it out. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Flacker takes down Gumayusi. What is happening down here? Keria is looking for the last shot. Fake is going to pick up the kill in the end. And
they know the summoners are still down on Gumayusi. Caps, though, spotted out, and Oner going to intercept here, make things a little bit awkward as Faker's now cheating down. They're going to collapse.
Keria's going to handshake. Caps here is looking to try and get out. The blast cone's going to disappear, though, and he does have the taunt, but that's exactly what T1 want, I think. Fake is going to jump over the wall, and it's just a matter of a few seconds. Can these double buffs actually be taken here by T1? As Faker, I think, should be able to get an auto in. Oh! It is going to be Oner that locks down the kill.
Map control, and Faker's ability to siege is super strong as they look for another dive.
Yeah, Cataclysm's going to start this one up as Jankos trying to get out of there, is going to survive for now. Gumayusi looking to get out. The Ignite is ticking down, but it looks like he might have got himself to relative safety. No, the answer is absolutely not, and it's a great dive to come on through, even though G2 punch each other just a little bit on the way out. It's not, oh yeah, they always have a plan for if something's being taken cross-map. I said that before. You know, we've been saying it all tournament. In the meantime, there's a fight here towards the bottom side. Nice sidestep there from Gumayusi, still being able to weave through these autos. Oner turns up as well. Targamas in trouble, but is going to stay alive for now. Gumayusi not going to be able to find that kill and will be taken down. G2 now happy with what they've taken. Faker moving on in. It's a flash forward. It's Jankos going to get handshook out of that opportunity. Faker's going to pick up the kill.
It should have just been a super easy free kill, but they're able to avoid the Pyke hook. They're able to avoid the knockup. We can see in the replay, Broken Blade going to get away, but there is that handshake pulling him back. And Faker comes in with the Gale Force active, gets that kill.
Completely on his own to wipe out every plate on the map. It's absurd. Gets another full tower here on the bottom side. Here with the mid lane Tristana is what we see so many Tristanas do. It's very similar to why Caitlyn is so popular in the LCK.
Was that every team that took a Baron against T1 was actually behind in gold when they did it. Not one team took a Baron from ahead in gold, and that kind of speaks, I think, to some of the old 17 minutes is a shellacking, and it's going to take some real playmaking from
right now. There is a lot of standing gold, I would say, for G2 to grab. The question is, can they grab it? As an ultimate comes in from Jankos.
Yeah, that is a Cataclysm come down. Great handshake does come through there as Caps does try to get out the taunt, but he's not going to be able to find it. The Gale Force is going to be able to keep Gumayusi alive. Caps flashes away, but Faker just assassinates Blacken in the backline. Targamas trying to get out of there now as well as the resets will come in. Jankos is lying on the ground, and this taunt is not going to work. The Heartbreaker is going to come through, but Oner is going to get taken down. Caps goes golden again at exactly the right time. Zeus now wrapping around Keria, moving in, flashes forward, doesn't get the handshake though, as Broken Blade melee range against this Renata, but it looks like Keria doesn't really mind. Zeus is so scary, but the top lane, they're losing everything. This is why I keep casting team fights, and the whole base is exploding.
T1 are winning on the other side of the map. A very scrappy fight here between G2 and T1, but T1 taking the Hex Gates, they grab that top and hit.
This is exactly the time that G2 might have a chance as T1 are ripping through this Baron. Jankos is inside the pit. Can he make it a 50-50? No, he can't keep himself alive. The ult from Renata will make sure no one can answer. The Baron comes through.
22-minute end.
An absolute slaughter from the side of T1 as the 5 members make their way towards the first Nexus of potentially many as they're looking to secure game 1 in this best of 5.
Yeah, at least another couple of Nexi will go down, but Broken Blade on the fountain looking to try and push them away. One Nexus turret is going to stay up as...
Who needs wards when you are the ward?
Yeah, exactly.
I am. And then they punish the things.
Yeah, and it worked out very, very well. I think the Tristana pick was fantastic from Faker. G2 deciding not to move the Galio elsewhere. Zeus is just going to dash out of the way, the flag and drag. Multiple turrets going down at the same time. They are going to do this one by the book as the inhibitor falls on the bottom side of the map. G2, all 5 are alive, but The wallets are just feeling a little thin. Caps now looking for his opportunity, does find the taunt. Winds of War comes through, but the Justice Punch is only going to move him further into danger. He goes golden to see his death for a moment, but T1 will be able to take him down. They'll look for this mid turret as Jankos in the middle of his Cataclysm is just going to die. And I think that's going to spell the end finally here as the Bone Skewer comes forward. Faker will get taken down, but Blackett is going to get answered immediately. And remember, T1 have a backup 80 carriers. Gumayushi's going to be able to pick up a few extra autos before destroying this Nexus. And honestly, this game one felt personal on the side of T1, and we'll see whether G2 can answer back in game two.
The game plan was very clear.
Ooh,
That's Yone.
okay, it's Yone.
Right.
So this is a Broken Blade pick, because this is something that he played a lot. And it was really popular right after Lethal Tempo got some buffs a while ago. People started playing a lot.
It does not use skins, right? And so
Keria's flash level 1 though, so we're just going to hold it there for a moment. That is going to be the charm hitting, but it doesn't even really matter. Keria going to get taken down low. The flash from Jankos, but the stun comes in. Keria's still going to die, but it's going to take a little bit longer. There is the Winter's Bite just to guarantee the assist, and a few extras. Just never happened. T1 baited us in with all of their very aggressive play, and there is a hook, and we're going to start a fight here on the bottom side. Jankos was spotted. Oner is here as well. Winter's Bite once again going to go wide as the Blade Coral is fantastic. The depth charge gets the flash out from Blackett, and Oner just kicks him through.
Defending that tower, feeling comfortable here. Taps up towards that top side. Ooh, nice buffer.
Still gets the stun, and Zeus is going to flash this one out. So, going to have to use the flash. They're actually looking for the dive. Charm is going to miss, though, as Caps takes about all of the turret shots. But still, they are going to be okay. And Zeus still trying to chase this one out. The low health bars look tasty, but he doesn't have an ult anymore, and no flash.
And the problem is mid lane, right? Because mid lane, you're losing the wave there. Jankos dropping Herald bot. Faker is going to move down towards bot, and Oner is running down here now. So G2 has got to get out of there.
TP, those TPs are up.
Another hook going to come through. Faker, yes, they know that he's here, but can they actually get out in time as Oner dives on in? They're trying to layer all that CC. The Lee Sin manages to get out, but the Heartbreaker's there to follow. It's a 1-for-1 as Blackett falls down, though, and now Faker is on the hunt, looking for this Braum as the chains connect onto Jankos, but
another kill onto Blackhead, and the early game, very quickly, is now snowballing in the favor of T1 once more.
Yeah, this one was really close. He was, up near 30% of the team's damage. And then you look at MSI, where he has been underperforming, compared to those very lofty standards that he set for himself. 24% of the team's gold at MSI, only 22% of the team's damage. But as you said, pick another carry, pick a card. And this time, Zeus, 22.5% of the team's gold, almost 30%, 29.8% of the team's damage from Zeus, who's been having an absolute standout performance.
It's just going to pop, and the turret might just go down as well. Faker is going to get executed. Oh, no. He did get killed by Caps. He killed the turret. That's what I thought the execution was. That was terrifying. But thankfully, it is Caps that's able to answer that one back. Cute little solo kill there for Faker, though, on the top side before he went down.
And smart to actually have the presence of mind to finish off the tower there. Realize that you're wrapped around on, you are going to go down. But catch here.
Yeah, it's going to be the knock-up onto Keria. He does have a bit of a shield, and now the rest of the boys are going to turn up. He is going to fall, but can Broken Blade get himself out? He's going to flash, but the safeguard's going to get Oner in there as well. Nice knock-up from the Q from Broken Blade, and the stun comes down from Targamas, but yeah, there's 0 damage between these two as Oner's trying to fight this one out. Caps comes over, though. He's got a lot of damage himself as now Gumayushi throws down the feathers. Blackett finds the Moonlight Vigil as Gumayushi just dives on top of Caps. Don't think that was absolutely fine. As, yeah, this is some of the T1 plays that we were seeing
a little bit fast
in a
and
few
loose.
of those more, the more fast and loose games. Exactly, as Cap's going to find a nice charm onto Zeus, looking to try and trade this one back, but he's just not doing enough damage. Cap's just, the ult comes through. Zeus manages to find it. It's traded back in.
He's able to get behind the return of the Q and is able to find a big pick. Charm lands on the Faker.
Yeah, that's the Q flash. It's Faker going down extraordinarily low. Targamas now going to rotate over as well. Great Winter's Bite as Faker brings his clone over, flashes the wall. Targamas going to try and find the ulti kill, and he'll get it as he just autos Faker.
The mid towers already dropped in that last sequence of plays, and it's important to recognize that while G2 are finding pace, the bot push to gain control of the jungle, which can then guarantee you a very deep mid push, which makes it very difficult for the opposition to contest Drake. But T1 have said, you know what, we don't care about this Drake, we're actually going to give it up in exchange for control around the top side and damage down onto this top tower. And you can see the vision investment As they're looking for
Ulti
Gumayushi.
going to come through from Broken Blade. Gumayushi going to try and get out with the Gale Force. Also uses the Feather Storm. It's a lot invested as now Jankos starting this dive. Decent sidestep onto the Heartbreaker, but there are too many buttons G2 has available, and the Zyre is going to fall down. Now T1 will find their way into the fight, but have they got here fast enough? As it's a really nice chain from Faker, but he will pop back. And G2, now can they get out of this one is the question. Oh, just dives into the knockup. The setup was just beautiful from Broken Blade as Faker goes down. Now T1 desperately trying to get out. Good flash from Keria, but Oner's not going to be so lucky. Charming is Caps as he puts him back towards his outer turret there in the mid lane. So Oner is going to be alive, and yeah, maybe. T1 now trying to get this push on. It feels like things have slowed down just a little bit as Hex Flash comes in, and I bite my tongue. Q connects as well, but it's Targamas. Remember, this guy's pretty tanky. They're still going to go for the fight. Buddy breaks his stopwatch. Faker now looks for the double destroy.
But that is not going down fast enough.
Yep, some decent vision still here for G2 as well as Keria dives on in. That's a great double knockup, and Caps is immediately taken down. Can there be an answer from G2 though? And Zayas against the double knockup, but Blackett is still absolutely huge, and then find the flash from Gumayushi. Double kill for Faker in the end. It's Gumayushi still trying to find Jankos. Moves back towards his teammates. Jankos goes golden, but I just don't think he's going to have the gap closed to lock down this Zyre. And Gumayushi going ballistic in the team, but that's the ace from T1, and now they'll secure Baron.
What a flash from Gumayushi. The flash to redirect the feathers there onto Blackett. Absolutely erases him as T1 find the turn. Keria and Faker deal with Caps, and Gumayushi puts Blackett 6 feet under. They going deep onto Gumayushi. You can see the Gale Force forward to get behind him for the feather pull.
Been their biggest criticism. We did see them struggle in terms of what to do in the mid game, but that is a clear evolution, a great utilization.
It's kind of shifted quite a lot on who they thought was favorites. At first it was T1, then it was G2, now it's RNG, and
well, Faker could get slowed down here. Oh man, Caps still committing to it, but Faker's just going to answer back. Too many mates in that brush alongside him, and Caps goes too deep.
The locket from Keria again. This man just does it so many times. He refuses to let this T1 lose.
Jankos going to get knocked up. That's a dredge line from Keria as well as Gumayushi's going to sidestep the ulti. Jankos going to get taken down as Broken Blade will find the Zyre in the back line. He's looking for the knockup, but the Feather Storm is going to be there. The flash out from the Scion. He's going to be safe, but what's he going to do to stop his base from being torn to shreds as this mid inhibitor is going to go down? The top lane has been prepared earlier as well as Zeus going to tank up the turret for just a little while longer, but 2 inhibs. Click of a finger, and now it's a 12,000 gold lead from T1.
yeah, Cap's about to respawn, so T1
just finding Q after Q. Is Zeus there, as the picture-in-picture shows us. In the meantime, though, we're looking for something. Decent stun, but the buffer of the dredge line is going to be there. Yet Zeus was thinking about his opportunity, but T1 are just splitting them, and now Keria dives on forward. Caps is going to go golden as Broken Blade's just trying to keep them busy, but it's just not going to do anything. Oh my goodness, Oner picks up a kill with his Gore Drinker of all things, and now, yeah, that's the direction you probably want to go as T1 are looking to take down these Nexus turrets in game number 2, and things in the Rumble stage looked pretty close, but this series is starting to definitely look the opposite of that, as now onto the fountain goes T1. They'll take down the Nexus. This isn't looking close, gentlemen.
T1 once again prove their growth and evolution.
Akali is what they're considering right now, and he will lock it in. Okay. It's the classic Akali Lee Sin combination, having them on the same team, certainly something that everyone
classic? I mean, T1 are on the precipice of finding themselves as the victor once again. Caps looking for a kill onto Faker. The bubble lands.
Bubble is going to go down, as let's see whether Faker finds the right spot. He doesn't. He's going to flash into the He flashes over the wall. Oh my god, that was...
he just broke his ankles.
Yeah.
Oh
and now Caps he's stolen the flash, so he has it at the ready. Is now Faker. He can execute. And there is no way that it can be answered. That was so many In order to back, we're running Ignite, you have to be very specific in your base timing. So Faker set up a bit of a slow push here so that he could freeze the wave underneath his tower. And now he's hit level 6. Keria coming over. Oner not going to find the Sonic Wave. Is now Caps. Perfect execution from Faker is not going to be enough to lock down that kill. The Ignite comes down, handshake onto Targamas, who's going down very low, very squishy now on this Karma, no longer on the Brahmas. Flackett's moved on in as well. Feels like everyone's here. The heal comes out from Gumayushi. Flackett going to get slowed down for now. Not quite enough of of the feathers, and Flag is going to have to flash.
It's this is something that you will see in pro play, but never in solo queue, where a mid lane and hang on.
Yeah, ulti comes down towards the bottom side of the map. Gumushi in trouble, and he is going to burn down. I don't think he's going to get enough to get the kill there on that one, and that is going to be the kill secured from G2. That is going to be first blood, and it is Jankos that helps secure it.
Nicely done by Jankos, a quick level 6 there. Does get the kills, and Oner with a rare misplay. Safeguarding away and then flashing back in.
Yeah, it kind of broke my brain a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was worried that Keria was going to go down. Now they're looking for a play here. The slow lands.
Yeah, we'll see whether the handshake is going to come in. It does, as Oner is going to be able to secure it. So 1-1 now.
Here, but he believes the rest of Tier 1 has reset, and he ends up getting punished for it.
Oh, Ornhorn comes down. Zeus going to flash to get himself out of the way. That is a great ulti from Keria. A lot of damage now onto Targamas and to Caps as he's just keeping within melee ranges. Now Faker just gets the Q, doesn't pick the right spot to get the ulti over the wall, but the 5-point strike is going to be there. Targamas doesn't have his flash, exactly like you were saying. Keria is going to lock down that kill, and T1
grab this, and when you have a losing lane and you lose Herald, it gets very difficult.
Oh, nah, there is going to be the knock-up from Broken Blade. They're threatened, but Paranoia comes in. That is going to be immediately the kick out, as it's going to be Oner that locks down the Herald. But Jankos, can he get anything else done? The rest of the team are coming in. Caps just looking to lock down Keria. Keria is going to try and W himself, but it's not going to quite be enough as Broken Blade flashes over the wall. Jankos eventually does go down. Targamas also just going to be taken off the rift once again, as now Caps against the world. Zeus is trying to skip through everything.
Disengage. Caps only level 7 to the level 9. Oner's gonna get, well, I don't think he does actually get level 8 here, but regardless, there's nothing that Caps can do. And G2, they thought they could force that play. They didn't have the health, and it feels like desperation is starting to come through for G2.
And I have to just give so much credit to the timing on that Lee Sin kick. He buffered it perfectly so that Nocturne would arrive and then is instantly kicked. And Flack, maybe seeing him die again bot side, no flash.
Yeah, Faker. Perfect execution is going to be available, and he throws it out to tidy up the kill very comfortably. Faker in a side lane now. His comfort zone absolutely here on this Akali.
I mean, they're just on fire, and Oner is looking so good. Guma has flash, but will not use it.
Knockup comes in. That's a fantastic disengage ult from Keria, though. Finds a handshake just to stun up the solo lanes of G2 here. The Q is going to connect. Caps flash over the wall. That is going to keep him alive here, but T1, it feels like they've just come alive in the last few minutes.
I just love how T1 is actually pushing the pace of this game. They know that Nocturne wants to fight only around ultimate, so Oner's saying, no, we're just going to fight constantly or I'm going to take your whole jungle.
Oh, that was so cute. The Bellows Breath is going to be out there, but
nice
no
buffer.
kick does come through. Exhaust comes down as Oner's just going to move his way out, and he can just do everything with Reckless Abandon, and there's no punishment.
And I think that you highlighted it there, Azale. T1 are just playing around that window.
To Gumushi, of course, their first of the tournament was a very large lead as well, which G2 were able to come out ahead of. And it was with things like the Ornn that now G2 have for themselves, as Caps was looking for Gumushi. Good ignite to go down there, but doesn't find the paddle star. As Oner just going to wait until Targamas goes down, but it's not going to be enough. He does eventually get back in there. Q going to land as well, and now Zoe, feeling like a sitting duck right now, has to go back to that portal jump, wishes he didn't, as now Black is going to get dove on once again. Faker's got the second activation, but it's not going to quite be enough damage, as he didn't want to get underneath that turret. Oh, not quite enough, as the bullet time is just going to push Faker away.
Everything's just coming up T1. 8,000 gold lead, make it even more. We'll see if they can get there.
They're just not slowing down. They realize the position that they're in, and they're not giving G2 a second to breathe.
Well, Paranoia just to get over the wall.
Nice
Big knob, but it's a great spell shield from Jankos, exactly as you say. Targamas now comes in, has the exhaust, is now Flacket's here as well. 4 versus 1 as Zeus does now have it, and he keeps himself alive. Thanks, Keria, for that one. And Keria even grabs himself the kill as well. Zeus now with a grump. He's just going to eat that one up and be a little bit more healthy. Gumushi now looks for a mini stun into the wall. Targamas is taken down. Gumushi tidies up that kill also, and G2, oh man, I mean, 4 versus 1, and still Keria gets there in time.
It's just bullying at this point, isn't it? They can't even get the 1 kill. Keria arriving in time for the bailout. Cap's going to look here now, but Oner can easily block.
Yeah.
And it's just been the Oner show. 10 out of 11 KPs running everywhere.
Gumushi is going to get taken down here most likely. I mean, I've said that a few times. He does have flash, and so he is just going to try and create that distance. There's the hostile takeover from Keria. He now wraps himself around. Caps is still looking to try and get that lockdown. A massive Gnar into the wall. That's going to be Faker locking down the kill as everyone's turned up. Gumushi's going to kill Caps. And gentlemen, I don't think that G2 have anything left in the tank for this game. T1 are just styling right now.
You can see the collapse happening for G2, and T1 is taking advantage of it. Pick after pick, play after play.
I mean, he has been amazing, and we've gotten to see many times over why Keria was the spring MVP as well.
That's enough, and Zayas is just going to pop the Zoe. We'll see whether Jankos can answer this one as, yep, everyone's coming down to try and take him out this time, but the Ram's going to be there. That's two versus... It's 5 people down here. The rest of T1 are launching themselves towards these inhibitor turrets. Zayas takes 2 with him.
And they can push for the win potentially here. We'll see how far they want to go. At the very least, they will get this one inhibitor. They have Shelly. Will they play it safe? Will they play it controlled? It's 17-3. They're 14,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, bullet time going to be used.
One
just to
kill, he secures a second, and while he loses his life, the benefits for T1 are more than...
Holding on for the moment. Their wave clear is pretty good. And of course, it's not like the Baron hasn't spawned. Still got 10 seconds. That's a flash in for the hostile takeover. The kick comes forward onto Caps, but they are trying to get themselves back. The Nara into the wall from Zayas. He throws the boulder through, and all 4 just get wiped from the rift. Flacked just left walking back to the fountain. The teleport to the mid lane, and in 20 minutes, T1 are looking to end this game.
T1 wipe G2 off the map, and Flackett is left alive to watch as his base crumbles. T1 3-0 will look to claim their revenge against G2.
And an incredibly swift best of 5 as well, as now Flackett's going to be taken down. Both of these Nexus turrets go down, and T1, much like RNG did in their semi-final, will get a 3-0 over the Western team. A few extra kills at the end, but there it is. T1 looking to try and play.
They have a lot of options. It's kind of what they want. There were some risky picks from T1. Didn't end up panning out.
Yeah, summary execution is what Game 3 felt like. It's like, oh, we've you know, time to put them out of their misery. We've dragged this on long enough, and boom, there they go. And I think the icing on the cake for me was, you see the karma come out, and I've said this a few times over the course of this tournament, but like EU players, not great karmas. They always complain when they go to Korea and they have to play against karmas. Said it in the green room.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe Targamas is going to be different, but obviously they lost out in that individual laning matchup, and ultimately a lot of those little things just snowballed into a lot bigger things, ending in a lot of plays like what you see now, where it's T1 are so ludicrously far ahead that even like a maybe somewhat questionable play just turns instantly into a good play.
But it just felt like G2 couldn't get a grip in this game at all, even from the get-go, right? We see a couple of these fights where you almost get these kills, almost get these plays, but T1 managed to get out with a scrape of HP, and then suddenly they're building this massive gold lead and able to run away with
The
it.
classic 1v5 for getting kills here. Love to see it.
The thing I want to point out is at the beginning of the day, we started talking about how, like, oh, Faker, he's played more of a facilitating role, he's going to side lanes, and I feel like he took that personally.
Yeah.
You know, we had
Facilitating with kills.
Yeah, we had 3 phenomenal carry games from him, and that makes T1 even more dangerous, right? Because it's yet another facet. Previously, I never thought it was because Faker can't play carries. It was because I felt the team needed him to in order to succeed. Now that they don't, that adds a whole level to this T1.
Yeah, the only thing Faker facilitated today was flights home for G2. And I have to, like, because I called it out, right? Like, I believed in G2, even if the odds were stacked against them, but like, T1 were clearly by far the better team. And even if that was expected coming to today, the level of dominance that they showed was stunning, honestly. It was wild to watch how incredibly one-sided the vast majority of these games and drafts really were.
Without a doubt. We're already singing his praises, but we're going to give one extra special shout out to Faker for his juke early on in the game. Very much the solo queue play, as we called out, right? Like, this is the kind of thing that you do to look cool and just so that you can show the clip to your friends. The man pulls it out in a semi-final international stage against Caps. So I wanted to take an opportunity to actually watch it from Caps' perspective so that everybody can kind of understand, you know, what he had to deal with in the moment before we refresh our memories on what it looked like from the spectator's point of view.
Yeah, Faker here breaking hearts and breaking ankles, like absolutely destroys Caps in this. And like, you can kind of understand it, right? Because Caps is like, oh, of course it's flash over the wall. He's probably just hiding in the bush. And it's too late by the time Caps realizes, oh God, I've been completely juked here.
It was, oh man, it hurt. It hurt because, like, a flashback. So I was lucky enough to cast the T1 series at Worlds that they were able to win in, and it was. I remember the call. I parroted the Doa call. Faker, what was that? In the context where Faker absolutely threw a game away, and I was like, oh, I'm so cool and I'm so clever. And now I feel like I'm getting payback, and G2's getting payback for all those series and all those moments, because this looks even more dominant in a lot of these games than G2 was in 2019. And I think that's like the sweetest revenge for T1 and T1's fans, is that they have so clearly, so decisively eliminated G2 from the tournament.
And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way, as Faker makes it back to another international final. As Azale had said on the cast, last time was 2017 in an international final. Plenty of semifinals appearance, and obviously the guy has been consistent to a degree on the international stage in solidifying his kind of legacy as the GOAT of League of Legends. But to be one of the main determining factors across all 3 games in qualifying to that best of 5 tomorrow against RNG, again, you wouldn't want it any other way.
And as the LPL representative, I'm terrified. I thought we had this
I mean,
pegged,
at least
you know?
Xiaohu's no slouch.
Yeah, but I thought we had this pegged, right? It's like, all right, you know, Xiaohu's going to be the facilitator, Faker be the facilitator, and now Faker has shown this completely new side that we've got to worry about. That's not fair. This was not supposed to be me coming to the semifinals, and suddenly we got more things we got to worry about with T1.
At least you got a warning, Dagda. At least RNG have earned themselves a warning, because EU, we thought the same thing. You saw that draft 1, suddenly there's a Tristana, and our entire game plan goes out the window from an EU perspective.
And that's the thing, is like Xiaohu loves to go for the same kind of things we saw from G2, right? Like the blind pick Gallios, these kind of things. And now we got to, all right, well, Faker's popping off in Tristanas, he's bringing out Akali's, he's no longer like, oh, I'm going to play for side lanes. I'm just going to pop off myself and carry these games on my back.
All right, well, you already have an idea of where we're going to be looking tomorrow when those 2 teams take to the stage, the mid lane. But while Faker performed across all 3 games in this series, did also want to call out our OP player of the game in this game number 3, Oner on the Lee Sin.
And yeah, I brought this up. Oner is a phenomenal Lee Sin. It's great to see him bringing it out through the latter half of Rumble stage and into this best of 5. Another thing about Oner, you know, he was their finals MVP after being the only one, I believe, on their team that didn't make the All-Pro team. So it was just, he's evolved so much since we saw him last year, right? He stepped in kind of a really, what could have been an awkward situation, performed insanely well throughout their Worlds run, and then has only improved. Like, if I had to give a most improved player, it would definitely be the Oner. I've really loved watching his growth.
Certainly, and I think I've watched him for most of this tournament play a lot around topside, and you can see in the kill and death maps that's where T1 were putting a lot of their attention. But even in this series, G2 wanted to play bot, Oner was ready to fight fire with fire, wanted to make a counterplay on the opposite side. It just feels like he was doing absolutely everything that he needed to do to respond to Jankos, to respond to any strategy G2 were bringing to the table. And that, to me, the fact that he's continuing to develop and still looks so dominant in the midst of all of that is incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just want to go home and play Lee Sin after watching that. Every single time I see this guy, like, the kicks are insane, the mechanics are on point, and especially the fact that you're able to do that on an international stage against some of the best players in the world, I think speaks volumes to this guy. And I think, as you say, it's incredible to see kind of his growth over the course of time as he starts to, you know, become a mainstay player for at international tournaments on behalf of the LCK.
That's funny. You want to go try it? I'm satisfied with just dreaming about it. Okay.
It's easier if I pretend, because if I actually try, I have to accept
it.
Exactly. If I just tell people I can do it and never test it,
quickly I will fall back down to earth. What a display, in all honesty, from T1. But by the same token, we also have to say goodbye to G2 as they fall here against T1. Yinsu is actually standing by in a Verizon post-game interview with Caps.
Thank you very much, Dash. I'm joined by Caps from G2 here. Hi, Caps. Welcome back to the show. Unfortunately, you guys weren't able to overcome T1 the way that you have in the past. What do you feel like were the things that went wrong for you today?
I mean, I think a lot of things went wrong today. They, I guess, just coming right out the gate, they had very strong early games, and they kind of snowballed 2 of the 3 games, like completely out of control. The third one was a bit closer, but I died when we were going to Nash, and then they kind of took over the game from there. So I think a lot of things were going wrong, and hopefully if we meet them again, we'll look to fix those.
But it wasn't all bad, especially in this tournament. You know, it's been a joy to watch you pop off. You had that win streak. The fans have been really loving it as well. So what would you say are some of the positives that you'd be taking away from this MSI?
I mean, I think the first half of the group was going very well for us, and we managed to take a game off T1 and RNG in groups. And unfortunately, we, I guess, didn't manage to do it in the BO5, and we won't face RNG. But we took a game of them in the first half, and I think if we I guess, managed to take away a lot of the things from playing against these really insane teams on stage and scrimming against them a bunch going in for summer. I'm hoping that we can show up even better than we've done in the past.
Lastly, of course, you guys came into this tournament with a couple of rookies as well. How proud are you of their performance and the fact that they were able to help you guys go this far here?
I mean, I'm really happy. I think they already proved themselves in Europe, right? And even if the games didn't go our way, I feel like the ones that did, they showed up really big time. And even some of the games today, I think they were doing a lot of really good stuff. So I'm super happy with how, I guess, all our new team members, even some of the, like even BB, right, coming in as well. And I'm hoping that we can continue to improve as a team, because then for summer and hopefully Worlds will be really good.
Thank you very much, Caps. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys here, and we'll see you back in Europe for summer.
Thank you.
You guys have heard you guys have heard Caps' thoughts here. I want to pass this back to the analyst desk and see what they have to say.
Thank you so much, Yinsu. Obviously, a stinging moment for Caps and the rest of G2. But again, I think it's important to remember both the run that they had to go on to get to this tournament, the way that they started this tournament, the way that in a number of senses they defined the early meta at this tournament and really challenged everybody else to kind of, match them and then surpass them in order to get to this point. And still, Yeah,
and I think that's why when we saw them initially, like being able to start off on such a success, I think that's why a lot of European fans felt that they could actually rally behind this team, right? Like we saw them bring out the Zoe and Thiari match. We saw a bunch of this kind of early draft going their way. And I think it was hard to deny at that stage that they were the best team at MSI. I think that's the most heartbreaking thing, is seeing that they weren't able to continue that streak forward, especially when you look at the caliber of players and the ability for Jankos and Caps to kind of find that and define that success in the early game for G2, to have been unable to at least scratch the surface of that here just feels like we haven't really got to see what G2 were possible of creating.
And again, big shout out to Caps for taking the time and giving us a losers interview. He can refuse, G2 can just refuse, and we're always, of course, going to respect that because it is such a crushing position to be put in. But he came out there and he said what he had to say, and he talked about the tournament as best he could. And I think the fact that he has been such a rock for this team and pretty much every roster he's been on since joining the league with Fnatic is just incredible to watch him through the years remain in that position.
And a rock for the Western League audience. Again, I know a player of his caliber and very much just of knowing Caps individually that he's not going to be satisfied in any tournament unless he's the one hoisting the trophy. But this man has never missed a knockout stage, a bracket stage at any international tournament that he has attended. He continues that streak. That's a difficult thing to put up for any player. Let alone somebody who's probably still in the early parts of his career.
And it's good that you say attended, because he qualified for international competition with the TCL and just wasn't able to attend because he was too young. This man has made for an international stage from what feels like the first day of his career. And it's, again, the thing that impresses me the most about this jungle mid duo especially is how consistently they get back to the top. They're not always number one. 2021 was a good year. Jankos wasn't always the best jungler. You know, you had years where Trick was better, et cetera, et cetera. But the fact that they're always coming back to the top, that they're always competitive at an international level, is what makes them such easy players to be excited about, to really rally behind and be a fan of.
Now, for those of you who are at home hoping to get a word from the victorious team in T1, have no fear. We will get a word from Faker, but that will be played on tomorrow's show ahead of the finals. Obviously, there's a big line of people that want to talk to Faker after that best of 5 performance, and so we will get our shot, and we'll make sure that you hear from him tomorrow on the show. I also know that a number of you are wondering, hey, Dash, it's been a little while since you've talked to us about Riff Reaction, that Spotify exclusive podcast hosted by Travis Gafford and Emily Rand. And guess what? Well, it's out on Tuesday, but they do want to hear from you. Who do you think wins MSI? This is the final question left to be answered. So make sure you submit your vote now in the Riff Reactions podcast on Spotify. From there, I think we've got nothing left to do but to pull up the bracket and begin to have that same discussion ourselves here on Cooldown. RNG did win the coin flip and has elected blue side, so we already have that information going into tomorrow's best of 5. But 2 absolute titans who swept their way to the grand final, one of which is defending their MSI title, were poised for something great.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what RNG can bring to the table, and I'm delighted that they kind of get blue side as well, because it feels like red side, you've got a band like Wukong, Ariel, these kind of things, so having that flexibility there is going to be a big one for RNG, and especially when you see what T1 can bring to the table today, you have to be ready for that pick and ban.
It's also interesting just because both teams in their 3-0s started on blue side and then had to win twice from red side. But therefore, again, it's like, ooh, so still a lot of value being placed on that blue side, but clearly capable of winning on either.
And then for the T1 side, like RNG has to be looking at today's game being like, wait a minute, like you said, like, they kind of really changed.
It's a bit hot under the collar.
Like,
more questions than answers after that one.
In the draft, they were like, okay, you know what? Faker is going to be a primary carry. And that is something that I think plays really well into the way that RNG like to play, right? Like we even saw them almost lose a game to Saigon Buffalo because of the way they targeted mid in that game with their mid jungle. So that is a really interesting facet coming out of T1 that I can't wait to see match up against RNG, because once again, T1 have had highs and lows throughout this event, but RNG have just been kind of, you know,
cruising,
steadily cruising along. Yeah.
And I think as much